So everyone, major hype. The Star Wars trailer for Rise of Skywalker that was shown at D23 has just been released to the public, and we finally get to see what everyone was going on about with that Sith Rey at the end of the trailer. So what we're going to do today is go over everything we kind of learned from it. I'm going to throw in a bit of speculation and my take on it as usual. But yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm going to try and control myself because I'm kind of fanboying out because this looks really good. But of course, I would love to see your comments and theories on what the heck is going on in this trailer, especially towards the end, in the comments down below. And if you go on to enjoy my breakdown of this Rise of Skywalker D23 trailer, give a like on it as it really does show your support for the channel. But let's get into this. So the beginning of the trailer showed a lovely montage. I mean, we can't forget how this is the last main film. This is episode 9. Everything that's been building up to this moment has been beautifully displayed in the trailer, whether that's from, the original film to the Phantom Menace, where we got to see Qui-Gon, even a young Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, to Anakin on the operating table getting in his Vader suit. It was just a really nice touch, and if there's one thing we know going into this film is that JJ is quite literally tying in every theme that he possibly can across all of the films. But that is obviously the old stuff. We want to get onto the new stuff, so what about that? So the first brand new footage we get is of Rey and the gang on Pisana. Obviously, I don't think that this is Jakku or Tatooine. It's just like the similar shots we got of her jumping over Kylo's ship, that first really epic shot from the first teaser from the Rise of Skywalker. Obviously, it's a very similar planet to Tatooine and Jakku, but yeah, there's another one out there and it's called Pisana. So then in this shot where we see the gang kind of walking over the sandy mound, I believe these are the natives of the planet. Don't get me wrong, when I first saw it, I was like, wait, is this where the Resistance are holding up? However, just judging by what we've seen in the previous teaser, from the first teaser of the Rise of Skywalker, and what we get of like Leia in this trailer, they could be holding up on the jungle planet that we've been seeing a few times. And just judging that Leia is in those locations, you'd have to think that that planet is where the Resistance are holding up. Plus, there's no obvious, unless I've just missed something completely obvious, there's no obvious signs that these are Resistance people. There's no flags. It's just like seems to be a bunch of people from the planet, and it just kind of matches up with what we've seen from other teasers of the action on this planet as well. And this is where we get some really amazing cinematic shots. So the Resistance ships jump in, but then it transitions to the First Order jumping in with their fleet of destroyers, and it's been rumored for a long time that these destroyers will have Death Star technology into it, and I'll get onto that laser tech in just a second by what we see. But I have to say, man, I cannot wait to see the impressive visuals just like this. That just looks insane. I know this is all culminating up to this final battle to conclude all of the saga, but man, just seeing shots like this kind of really make that feel more real than ever. At this point, we get to see Finn with the new character Janna, who many are believing to be Lando's daughter. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, it could be, could not be. Considering Lando's coming back, it may very well be. I mean, may see some young traits of the young Lando Calrissian in Janna. Now, this bit intrigues me. There's not so much to read into. We just see 3PO kind of like rising up in this like part of a spaceship, I'm guessing. I mean, it could be anywhere, but the noticeable thing to take out of this, because there's not too much going on apart from various parts in the background, is that 3PO's got red eyes. So what is going on with 3PO? Is somebody trying to access his memory banks or something? Are they turning 3PO rogue? Crazy theories down in the comments below now, but I'm not going to read too much into this as of right now, but it definitely is very interesting seeing a red-eyed 3PO. I mean, he's the Sith all along. We all know this, guys. We all know. Now, just a second ago, we spoke about that really awesome shot of all of those First Order ships in the sky. The atmosphere just absolutely incredible. Now, in the next part of the trailer, from what we just spoke about, we see a load of lasers hit the surface of this planet we saw featured, I believe, in the first trailer with that ship flying in. Now, this could be the rocky planet Kijimi, which is home to the Thieves' Quarter, where we're going to see the character known as Zori Bliss, who is played by Kerry Russell. This is just, me going off from what I'm seeing. So I think that this is Kijimi, and, this could be the Death Star tech that is fitted into these First Order ships that has been rumored to be in this film, and it seems that that could very well be the case. Either way, it looks like a whole bunch of destruction is going on. Obviously, the First Order is pursuing the Resistance, so we're gonna have to just wait and see how this, all ties in, because the Resistance seem to be on that jungle planet, but could there be elements on Kijimi? Why is the First Order raining down hell on Kijimi? Unless that could be the planet where we see other parts go on in this trailer, which we'll speak about in just a second. Now, of course, with this next shot, I'm gonna have to make the comparison to that. This just reminds me of Endor, but this scene within itself is very, very cool because we haven't seen lightsaber throws a whole bunch in live action Star Wars. I mean, of course, we have seen it, like top of the mind, Vader does it. Not everyone has mastered it, but here we actually see Rey throw her lightsaber, and we see a little droid there, a little probe droid. Now, this does remind me of like the typical Jedi training droid. I mean, who knows? They could make it like a spy droid. Maybe she's trying to hit that. But I do think that this could very well be a scene of Rey potentially training. I know it seems a bit randomly placed in that scene, but as I said, that tiny little probe droid that you may have missed is very reminiscent of a typical Jedi kind of training droid. Just think of when Luke Skywalker was, first using his reflexes to deflect the bolts on the Millennium Falcon. It just reminds me of that. But yet again, guys, just to point back, this is that jungle planet we see Rey on in the previous trailer, hugging Leia. We see that shot of her earlier on in this trailer, so this is why I'm thinking it could be where the Resistance are held up. This next scene is very epic, where we see Kylo walking away from his ship and he ignites his lightsaber. Now, this is a very interesting scene because it's hard to kind of pin down what planet it is. I mean, it could be Kijimi, just because Kijimi is known to be a snowy planet from what we just know about it already with what they've teased. But if they are fighting on the Death Star, which we will see and go over in a second, it could be somewhere else too. But Kijimi is snowy, as I just said, so this fits that this could just be a separate part of the movie where Kylo is in pursuit. The Death Star thing that we see in a second could be in a whole different quadrant of the film, and this is where he's just on Kijimi going after whoever. But another thing to throw in there, when we see Rey looking out at the distance of the ruins, that doesn't look so snowy. So that's why I'm saying it seems that this could be separate parts. But nevertheless, Kylo Ren looking very, very badass, igniting his crossguard lightsaber. And this, guys, this part of the trailer is very, very cool. Very Revenge of the Sith vibes. That's what a lot of people were saying coming out of D23 anyway. As we all know, that Obi-Wan versus Anakin duel was something else, in terms of all of the different environmental factors. And now they're chucking that in again with Kylo versus Rey. I'm still going to go with on top of the Death Star. It does seem like that is the case. If you're adding in Sidious theories, which we'll go on into in a second, I do want to say, notice how Kylo isn't wearing his helmet there, whereas in the Star Wars poster, and it has been reported that he does wear his helmet in the duel. So just, I guess, the fact that he's not wearing his helmet here, I guess he takes it off at some point. Maybe Rey smacks the lightsaber into it. Maybe he's forced to take it off. I mean, it's not very surprising that the fact that they would want to show Adam Driver his face at some point in the duel. Another factor to this, I don't know if you guys realize, that does seem to be like a Death Star turret towards the left of them when they're fighting. If you guys remember, whether that's through Luke Skywalker going through the trenches as he was trying to blow up the Death Star, there was lots of turrets flying at them. This seems to be in a similar kind of place on the Death Star, which is now obviously potentially the ruins. So let me know what you think of that down in the comments below with all of your thoughts with what I just said. Now, I'm sure you've already seen the poster, or whether that's the first teaser. You basically know that Sidious is somehow being incorporated into this film. At this point in the trailer, we do hear Sidious's voice saying, "Your journey nears its end," with Vader's breathing very prominent, which is just really chilling, thrilling, not even trying to rhyme there, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's really building the hype up to that moment that happens at the end of the trailer. Now, this, guys, is where we see a Sith Rey, a very pale Rey with a double-bladed lightsaber, or should I say like a single lightsaber, if you will, that converts down into a double-bladed. Now, it's very, very Darth Maul reminiscent, in terms of the hilt. I mean, obviously his didn't curve up like that, and she looks sinister. I mean, she looks so corrupted with the dark side to the point where, you start looking ill with corruption. There is no yellow Sith eyes. I remember that circulating around the internet. That would have been pretty cool. But guys, I have to put this down to the fact that why would they show that in the trailer if it was actually going to happen? Also, why make Rey go dark side in the last film when it's likely not going to end on that? Now, you can debate that with me. Of course you can. You could be like, of course they could do that. However, I don't think they show that in the trailer. Secondly, I think this is Sidious trying to, show Rey how powerful she could be with the dark side. Now, at the same time, offering a vision like that could just put somebody off, like Rey, who is, with the light as of, The Last Jedi, very much so towards the end of that film. But, you know, at the same time, we have to go back to those comments from Luke Skywalker where, you know, he said, like, you know, you were tempted by the dark. I'm very much so paraphrasing here, but it's like you couldn't even stop yourself. Like, she, you know, gave in to that impulse straight away. She didn't even try to hold herself back in those scenes in The Last Jedi. So maybe Sidious thinks that maybe if I give her, you know, a little temptation of power, she could be tempted to see herself here in her future insanely powerful. But as I said, even with Rey seeing that, you know, temptation from Sidious, I don't think she would be sold. So the only other thing I can think is essence transfer. Now, I know this is non-canonical, you know, in terms of if you're going heavy into that. Whether you're looking at a Darth Bane equivalent of essence transfer, where you do transfer your being through the Force into another being, inhabit their body, expel them to the void of nothingness, and you are that person. Now, how is Sidious in this film? Nobody really knows at the end of the day. Has he been body hopping? I don't know really. I mean, is that really the case? If he could have come back a lot sooner. So I think with whatever, I mean, who knows? They could try and establish new canon here with his dark side energy still being around the Death Star. Think Voldemort Horcrux style. I know that may be a bad analogy, but it's just one way to get you guys locked into the way I'm thinking of with what they could do. It would be extremely interesting if Sidious somehow manages to, you know, essence transfer himself into either Kylo Ren or Rey. But yet again, I'm going to go to the bottom line here in the fact that I think with whatever draws Kylo Ren and Rey to the ruins of the Death Star, they somehow meet. I don't think they're like, hey, on, you know, freaking Messenger on your phone, do you want to meet up on the ruins and have a cool duel to just settle this for once and for all? I don't think that's going to be the case. They're obviously going there for one reason or another, maybe to stop Palpatine's, you know, looming threat. God knows how that, you know, is coming into play. And throughout their journey, maybe Rey gets there first, like we saw in the first teaser trailer. But regardless, perhaps her steps throughout the corridors of the Death Star, parts that aren't sunken, for example, she comes across this similar-esque room, maybe, who knows, perhaps a never-before-seen room that Sidious used or Vader used, whereas maybe similar in the sense of The Last Jedi, where she looks at herself in the mirror and bang, sees the Sith version of herself that either freaks her out or makes, you know, freaks her out also, but also makes her feel potentially ashamed because she kind of liked what she saw, because as we all know, the dark side is very tempting. But if you go down that path, forever will it dominate your future. But, you know, that was a very, very impressive trailer, but I'm not surprised. I just really hope they do something crazy, mad, that nobody is seeing with Sidious. I mean, of course, we didn't even expect Sidious to come back, but is it really just his dark side taint on the location of Death Star? That would make sense. That would make sense because that is theoretically possible, I believe, in the Star Wars canon, that you can reside your dark side energy in a certain place. But is it going to be something more than that, to the point where he can somehow, you know, actually, you know, essence transfer on someone? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. Let me know if I missed anything. I would love to do a follow-up video. But as you can tell, I am fanboying out right now because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. This looks awesome, so naturally I'm going to be very excited, and I hope you feel the same as well. I hope you can feel the energy through the camera lens. But let me know if you want to see more Star Wars videos like this. Leave a like on it if you did enjoy it. Check out my Discord server, my social media, all in the description down below. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and may the Force be with you always.